Archfiends of Chaos. This is your Fitz Funtime X Turk, and we're going to get ready for another Final Fantasy thing there. So, but anyways, let's talk about evil organizations. This discussion will be talking about mainly why the Nifelhime Empire is the evilest organization in Final Fantasy lore history ever. Now, don't get me wrong, there are good runner-ups to evil organizations in Final Fantasy. In this one, we can also include Kingdom Hearts. So, Organization 13 does count too. The runner-up for the evilest organizations in Final Fantasy would have to be Organization 13 for Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy 7, Shinra Power Electric Company, Final Fantasy 1, Chaos's Archfiends of Chaos, and why Shinra experiments on their humans and creates super soldiers using cells from an alien. Even experiments on their own citizens and cause a whole bunch of problems. Organization 13 wants to bring the darkness to the whole world. Archfiends of Chaos wants to bring plagues and pestilence and earthquakes to the world. Now we got that out of the way. This is why I think the Nifelhime Empire is the evilest organization in Final Fantasy history ever. Because of the impact they have on every main character in the whole series, you know. Now, not to say, besides, the death of Luna Freya, which was another cop-out that they used for Sephiroth in Final Fantasy VII, doing Eris in. The reason why the Nifelhime Empire is actually the evilest organization ever. Let's start with the beginning of the Nifelhime Empire. Even before the Nifelhime Empire even existed, 3,000 years ago. Both the tag team duo, Ardyn and Ardyn's Astral, well, in this case, Ardyn's teacher, Ifrit, the one who created the Star Scourge, the one who put the Scourge inside the volcano, the one who turned Ardyn into the King of Darkness. Ifrit, Ardyn's teacher, Ifrit. It started with him because of his hatred for the other Astrals, for what happened to Eos, for having children with humans, because that's forbidden in Astral culture, which also, happened again because, well, Gentiana had something to do with Ardyn, but then, but that's another theory, another time. And I'm not trying to open another can of theories when I want to talk about mainly focusing on one theory. Now, why is the Nifelhime Empire the most evilest empire of Final Fantasy, say? Well, not only they have an impact to the main characters. The main characters, Noctis' father was killed by the Nifelhime Empire. Regis lost his home and kingdom of Tenebrae to the Nifelhime Empire, and was framed in the kingdom of Insomnia, and pretty much lied and manipulated Regis to thinking that King Regis is responsible for his mother's death and the takeover. As well as they took in people's homes and everything, did political discourse, and pretty much conquered all of Lucis up to when Kingsglaive, when Insomnia was supposed to give up territories to the Nifelhime Empire as well. So, a lot of wars kill a lot of people. And Ardyn, the originator of all this, manipulated the Emperor Idolus to have wars for 3,000 years. Well, maybe not for 3,000 years, but ever since the Nifelhime Empire started. And maybe not when the Nifelhime Empire started, but when Idolus was elected as Emperor of Nifelheim. Pretty much Ardyn has manipulated and puppetly controlled Idolus, not only through the Scourge, but manipulated Idolus to start wars with several countries to gain the power he wanted to gain. So, pretty much all those wars kill a lot of people. So, because of a lot of dead people through that pretty much means generations of not only Lucis kings, but innocent civilians killed by Nifelhime's wrath as well. Also, the missing people get turned into demons by Nifelhime Empire, especially if you enlist in the Nifelheim military. Except for the lieutenants, and that's because the lieutenants never knew about it. Except Caligo had the idea what Nifelheim is doing. Not to mention, Prompto's one of the main characters. Prompto's messed up for the fact that his daddy's not only a Nifelheim scientist, but his daddy turned him into half human, half demon. So Prompto pretty much has a self-hatred thing going on due to everything his daddy did to him. And reasons why Prompto was adopted in the first place. Because Verstale's a sicko. As well as the Nifelheim Empire complete traitors. They were supposed to sign a peace treaty together with King Regis. But that didn't go through on the fact that, it didn't go through on the fact that Idolus pulled a gun out on him as an act of betrayal because of Idolus' malice against King Regis, because of his hatred for King Regis. Even though he kind of respected him as a king, he still hated him because they're enemies. But what started their animosity toward each other was Arden. Arden told Nifelheim that Insomnia has the last crystal. And due to King's Glaive, we can concur that Arden went to see the crystal of Lucis before meeting up with Regis in the throne room to pretty much set up the events that happens in Final Fantasy 15. So, we can concur the Nifelheim is the evil's organization. Not to mention, they would have spread the Star Scourge everywhere. Because Idolus is a puppet of the darkness, just like Regis said. Regis even pointed it out that that Idolus is a puppet of the darkness, and that's why Idolus lost his shit and went crazy and killed Regis, because he didn't like Regis disrespecting him like that. So, but Regis was right. Once he started figuring out and got wise to everything Nifelheim planned to do, Nifelheim's true intentions were not only to make soldiers out of demons, but also to turn all and every citizens of Lucis into demons and rule over the Star Scourge with Arden and Ifrit, pretty much ushering a world of darkness where there is no light, where the sun is eclipsed and demons roam around. That even Idolus wanted to kill the Astrals and follow Arden's plan from step to step so he could rule the world. So he could properly rule the world. I mean, sure, technically he's taken over the territories, but there are people that won't accept Idolus as ruler. For obvious reasons, because Idolus is a dictator. He's like Sid Rulstein from Type 0. He's a dictator. He's like Emperor Mateus from Final Fantasy 2, because he's a dictator. And with dictatorships and dictators, not everybody's going to accept the rule of dictators. And if they do, it's begrudgingly. Now, if Idolus could turn all civilians into demons, and go through Arden's plan to do so, then they would be obedient due to the fact that both Arden and even Idolus has somewhat control of the Scourge. Because I say Idolus has somewhat control of the Scourge because you see him summon demons on Regis when Regis told him off and told him, "You're a puppet of the darkness." Even though Idolus is a puppet, he's still pretty evil because not only he turned his own civilians into demons, and that's why demons roam Nifelheim like crazy, but he wanted to go with Arden's plan, and Arden wants to usher the world of darkness all over the whole world. So, that's pretty much evil. Pretty much turning humans into demons. And pretty much create Armageddon. Just to have complete control over the whole world. Seems pretty evil. As well as unnecessary bloodshed and wars by Nifelheim due to Arden's manipulation. Because Arden's pure evil. Let's just be honest. he's the embodiment of all darkness, as well as Ifrit. Ifrit is pretty much the darkness incarnate, and created a second successor to fulfill his work, and that second successor was Arden Azunia, or the true name, Arden Lucius Kylie, a previous king of Lucis that turned against everything he was. So, the reason why I said, yes, all these other organizations in Final Fantasy were bad, but nothing tops the Nifelhime Empire, because there's more impactful stuff besides the death of Lunafreya. You know, they took it over countries, killed lots of people over a millennium of wars under Arden and Ifrit's direction. Idolus turned his own civilians into demons using the Scourge. And you know the black stuff you see in the pipe when you go in episode Gladios, that black stuff? That's actually the Scourge. Because Nifelheim was the first to be hit with the Star Scourge, and Idolus gave the idea, why don't you use the power to turn everybody into demons so you could rule over them and have a world of darkness where you can rule over. Of course, you know, Arden went overthrew Idolus, which actually did happen. And not only that, Arden was named a savior for destroying the Nifelheim Empire. Was named a savior in chapter 14. So pretty much, he's a false savior in order to usher a world of darkness. And if anyone knows anything, you know, about biblical stuff, you know, the devil tries to paint himself as a savior and good guy in order to save the world, to get people to worship him. That's what Arden did. So Arden betrayed his fellow comrade Idolus and said, yep, I'm the one who actually saved the world from the Nifelhime Empire, only to usher a complete world of darkness. So pretty much Arden is the king of darkness. So Arden being the true leader of the Nifelhime Empire, because he manipulated Idolus. All those crimes were Arden. So Arden is responsible for all the mass bloodshed, responsible for responsible for the Scourge getting everywhere, responsible for chapter 14 when the world got turned into darkness by the Star Scourge, you know, and responsible for taking kingdoms away, homes away, everything away, you know, pitted Nifelheim and Insomnia to fight wars just to create more casualties. So I would have to say that's even more impactful than any other evil organization in Final Fantasy. I think, and you know what, Tabata made this dark. Even without Versus 13's influence, this was a dark game. Because you had to fight the King of Darkness, and the King of Darkness was Arden Lucius Kylim, who paid himself as a savior, which he was not. He was actually responsible for every single event that happened in Final Fantasy 15, even before with the Star Scourge, the King of Evil, and was once before a good guy. Which, if you know biblically, you know what this, you know where this. If you know about, you know, biblical stories, you know where that's going. Or you know. So, if Arden's the King of Darkness, that means the organization he truly runs, the Nifelhime Empire, is the evilest empire ever to roam the earth. So, may the crystal be with you. And I wanted to let you know, why I think the Nifelhime Empire is the evilest organization to ever roam Final Fantasy's lore. So, may the crystal be with you. Talk to you guys later. Don't forget to like and subscribe, become an Archfiend Chaos, and, get on my Patreon. The optional donating will get you cosplay prints and some other goodies when the goodies do come out.